Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stalktober special event of the Heart of the Jakuls. I'm your informative host, Corva. Lothran makes me crazy mad sometimes, but I'm doing this story 'cause I like it. So let's begin exhuming another piece, okay? Go fetch that snack you've been dreaming of. Grab the best spot in all the house. Get all warm and cozy, and listen as best as you can to Lost Grahling. Drew bobbed his pointed face, mimicking that of the little critter he discovered next to the babbling brook beside them both. The water flowed and the fish jumped. "Fish!" Drew yelled. Drew snapped back to attention. He'd been getting breakfast before being distracted. So hungry, his rumbly tummy. He clambered up on a rock, careful to mind the wet, oily, slippery moss covering the top of it. His legs wobbled, but his big, grippy feet held in place easily. He darted his hands at the fish as they swam by, missing the first few. Then Drew remembered his tool. He'd made it last night after striking out on fishing yesterday. He plunked the spear right into the water, and Drew chased after it. He'd have to tie a vine to it next time. He pulled it from the depths to reveal a flippy little fish, which he bit the head off of. Yummy! It was a very good fish. Tender meat, tiny bones, sweet, slimy guts. So good. Yeah. Refreshing. Drew cleaned off his face, feeling sad. Master Lotan had been so insistent he keep himself and the others clean. There had been talk of a test for Drew, coming soon. And then the scary ones came. Big, angry, gnarled Grahlings, all warped and broken, smashing and crushing, shouting in hatred. No more Master Lotan. No more others. Now Drew was alone. He picked up his spear and went back to his things. Drew found his pack, adjusted his meager supplies, and the spear too. Can't forget that. I'll need that for more tasty fish. And then he flung himself forward with his massive arms, landing on his flat, long feet and hurling down the path with each throw of his body across the landscape. Drew hid behind a large rock. He heard the boomy sounds again. Not thunder at all. Distant, but much smaller. He hid in the brightening daylight. He didn't want to be spotted. They might get him. Run! Master Lotan's words, his last words to Drew, and those that had survived. Run! He had to fight to keep his arms and legs from following the command. He missed them all, in the most terrible way. It cut at him as he rested in his bushes upon the nook of the hollowed-out tree trunk. Drew munched on berries. He needed to run, but he needed to rest, too. He fought to rest. His limbs wanted to move, but he had to stay put. He needed sustenance. He needed energy. He needed these things. He had to obey Master Lotan, but he had to obey his needs as well. Tensing in fright whenever anything came near his hiding spot. Once it was some big predator, but a shake of a bush scared it off. So that was not as bad as Drew had thought. But later, as the sky darkened and Drew woke up from a nap, he knew he could no longer resist the urge to run. He was moving again, flinging himself across the land. Moving. He had to move. He felt it in him. He had to obey Master Lotan's words. He wandered through the long nights, traveling across valleys and hills, through forests and glades. He ran whenever he could, whenever he had the energy to do so, speeding across, hoping he could fulfill the last command provided him better than any of the others. But then it happened. A horrible choice. After many days of running, of trying to adhere to the iron-hard instruction, Drew came upon a town. Like many of the others he'd seen, he usually avoided them. This one, however, was on fire. A smoldering ruin in some places, a blazing infernos in others. What would Master Lowton say in a time like this? He wanted to run, felt his feet itching to follow the command. And then the screams, reaching deep into his gut, piercing, cutting, torn bits of voices grinding across Drew's well-sculpted muscles, meant for endless toil. They ruined him, those screams. They hurt more than any blade ever had before. You've got to help those that require it, if you are able. Those were Master Lawton's words, but they hadn't been an order, just an instruction. Drew hadn't been told what to do. His legs burned in fiery agony, just like those burning in those homes. He wanted to trade anything to just have a nod from Master Lawton, to say he should pick one thing over another. But Drew was the one that had to make the choice. He stowed away his bag, hefting his spear, and flung himself towards the town. The pain in his legs grew, getting worse by each step and each moment. This might be running, but it wasn't in the spirit of the order he'd received. He would stay to help as much as he could, but he needed to leave. He knew it and felt it in his muscles. He wouldn't be sleeping. Drew wouldn't be hunting for food. He'd be working for others to help them, not Lawton. He resisted the urge to flee. He felt it stronger as he went. He powered on and through, the suffering bolts of lightning striking his small legs in each and every second. It was a horrible torment to enter the town, but it had to be done. He could hear their screams, he could feel their pain. Drew made his choice. If he went back now, he'd be even less than what he could be if he continued. A building erupted with a great gout of flame from one of its windows. Shrieking, frightened child voices screaming, crying out in agony from within. Drew tossed his spear to allow for as much speed as possible. The heavy flames scorched his moist skin, drying and baking his outer coating in seconds. Drew scaled the stairs, driving closer to the horribly fuming fires, trying to reach the voices from beyond the next room. He dug at the fallen rubble to get to the trapped beings underneath. A beam fell on him, crushing his spine. Drew cried out in terror, pulling his body along the bubbling hot wooden floor. Scraping away, he ripped apart the clinging bits of pine to free a panicked child that darted off to safety the moment the bars of their prison had been lifted. Drew passed into darkness, falling away, drifting, opening his eyes somehow, unsure of what was going on. "It's okay, little one." Boop. Lawton booped Drew on the nose. "You passed." "No." Drew hugged Lawton as deeply as he could. "You died. You died, Lawton. I saw you die." Lawton took the crown off of Drew's head, showing him how much larger the previous one had been. "You're better than you were now. You passed." Drew separated from Lawton. "Oh, there's more space in my mind. I can feel it. Not so much fog. My head's bigger. I got a big old brain now." Drew shouted with excitement. "You've got longer legs, too. Not as much muscles. So be careful there. You're not so invincible as you once were." "Oh, the flames hurt so bad. I'm glad you're okay. And I'm okay. Do I get better tasks now? I want to do more important work." "Yep." "First, you must rest, little one. I have blue students to teach. Then I will feed you and your siblings. And then you pick a new job. Hooray!" Master Lawton booped him again. "Hooray!" Drew exclaimed in excitement, feeling the entire world had just gotten a bit smaller and a lot more manageable. And so it is, once again. Our time together has come to a close. I've been your pleased but exhausted host, Corvoth, and this was Lost Growling, Another tale right from the heart of the Jakuls. And now I must lead you back the way you came. Hello, and good night to each and all. Please leave your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. None of that awful, terrible, or mean stuff, though. Remember to like and share and subscribe to help us learn and spread and grow. And we insist as strongly as we can that each and every one of you do your utmost to stay safe out there. Goodbye, everybody, and good luck. Goodbye.